Okay, I'm Chris Salvino. I'm a trauma surgeon from Phoenix. I'm a former F-16 military flight surgeon. I own a small business in Scottsdale. If anybody wants to lose weight, come and see me because it's an internet weight loss company. Might as well get some business done tonight while I'm here. As my parents mentioned, I'm a father of 8-year-old twins who are in Phoenix right now swimming. I'm not a politician. I've not been involved in politics before. You can consider me the anti-candidate, but more importantly, consider me your long-distance neighbor. I'm a citizen legislator going to Congress. Like many of you, I'm annoyed with what's been going on in Washington. I'm appalled at the lies, the backdoor deals, the politics, our economy that's going closer and closer to socialism, the nanny state that we're being steered towards, the loss of jobs that are going faster than water draining from a sink, out-of-control spending, bloated and growing government. If you think about Lincoln, there's one thing Lincoln said that's really appropriate for tonight. Does anybody know what Lincoln said? Government of the people, by the people, for the people. He didn't say government of the people, by the people, for government. I think we've lost sight of that in Washington. You might ask why I'm even running, which is a great question, and you should ask that if you want to know why. It has to do with a cliche, which is very appropriate. When I was growing up, my parents said, if you want to put your mind to something, you can accomplish anything. You've got the shot at the American dream. Everybody in this room has had the shot of the American dream. But the cliche is actually very true. If we continue on the pathway that we're going down very fast, our children and grandchildren are going to be stuck in the American nightmare. It's not really too hard to conceptualize this is where we're going. I'm not, again, I'm not a career politician, I'm a citizen legislator. The guy I'm up against, his name is Harry Mitchell, the incumbent. He's a nice guy, used to be the ex-mayor of Tempe. He's been in politics for 40 years. He typifies what's wrong with government. Most recent polls show that the American people have a 13% approval rating for Congress. We need to get rid of some of these career politicians and put in citizen legislatures. James Madison, who knows who James Madison was? Just shout it out. The 4th President of the United States and the primary architect of our Constitution. And James Madison wrote, and I'll paraphrase, we need people to go into Washington essentially to work for a couple of years, get the job done, and go back to their farms or their day jobs. That's what we need in Washington. I'm different from other politicians. I'm running against 6 Republicans in the primary. They're all nice people. Any of the 6 are going to beat this incumbent. The incumbent is tonight voting for health care. That's probably the last straw for him. He's pretty much gone. It's a Republican district. He's a Democrat. Of the 6 people running, my message is very different. I like the other candidates. We get along well. But I think you'll hear about the message tonight and see where the difference lies. Every time I go out and speak, and I've been doing 1 to 6 or 7 speeches per day, we talk about 4 critical things that affects each and every one in this room. It doesn't matter if you live in Alaska, Arizona, or New York. Those 4 critical things are health care, immigration, which I now call border security, unemployment, and the economy. So let's tackle the first one first, because let's talk about health care first, because it's right on our minds today. Scott Brown's win in Massachusetts seems like ages ago. It was a great win, but the war on health care continues. No matter which way the vote goes tonight, the war on health care will continue. If the Obama plan is successful tonight, it will lead us down a pathway that will eventually lead into socialized medicine. It's a cumbersome bill of 4,000 pages full of murky things, backdoor deals, and lies and corruption. The most recent lie and corruption just happened today. The Stupak agreement. Stupak got an approval by Obama. He's going to do an executive order to ban abortions from federal funding. Well, I'm against abortions, but the way it's going about is just another backdoor deal. The Obama plan is going to be paid for a couple different ways. $500 billion is going to come from Medicare. $500 billion is going to come from Medicare. Does anybody know when Medicare was predicted to be bankrupt? 2017, and 7 years from now, it was predicted to be bankrupt. How can we take $500 billion from a program that's going to be bankrupt anyways in 7 years? Second, don't be fooled. There's taxes involved. Primary example, medical device companies. Matt McFarland sitting right there. We will be taxed. Your artificial hip, your hearing aids, your bandages, they're going to be taxed, and guess who's going to pay for that? The other big travesty with this plan is they're going to place unfunded mandates on our states, many of which are close to bankruptcy as it is now. The main cost with healthcare, or the main problem with healthcare is cost, C-O-S-T, cost. They're just not getting it. We spent an entire year of debate or longer talking about healthcare, and the fundamental problem with healthcare is cost, which is not being addressed with the bill in Washington right now. The bill in Washington is more about power. It has nothing to do with the fundamental problem of cost. Anybody know what it costs our U.S. government or the United States citizens? What's the cost to us for health care in the United States? 1%, 20%? 17%. 1/6 of the economy right now is taken up by health care. It used to be 4 or 5%. And if it continues on the pathway that it's going down, our health care will cost 1/3 of our economy. 1/3 is unsustainable. It's just completely wrong. 1/6, we're already starting to see cracks. There are already cracks forming in the health care system. Some examples. Mayo Clinic is now not taking some form of Medicare in some locations. April 1st, there's going to be a Medicare reduction in payments to doctors of 21.2% if it goes through. Ask your doctor what he or she is going to do if there's a 21.2% reduction in the Medicare payments. How long do you think they're going to stay in business? Again, the fundamental problem with health care is cost. We did an exercise in our campaign, and we wrote a paper on the reduction of health care costs. How can you reduce cost in health care and do it and remove politics? So take politics out of the equation. How can you get the cost out of health care? On the back table is our health care plan called the HELP plan, H-E-L-P. The HELP plan is up on the website, and not in 4,000 pages, but in 7 pages, it shows you how you can reduce the parasitic costs of health care using sound market principles. With this particular plan or something similar, you can reduce the cost of health care significantly without touching Medicare, without adding taxes, without adding unfunded mandates on our states, and the plan makes the delivery of health care smoother and simpler. I encourage everybody to take a look at the health care plan that we wrote called HELP. It's not perfect. It's a starting point. If you have comments, go to the website. You can email comments through the website. Tonight, we're either going to have a health care plan revision or a health care plan, whatever you want to call it, or we're not. If it passes, it's going to be a travesty. And when I go to Congress in Washington, we're going to have 2 problems on our hands. Number one, a 2-pronged attack. First pronged attack is we have to reduce the cost of health care. It's not going away. This plan does not address health care cost. So step number 1 is to go to Washington and attack the cost of health care. Look at the paper. You'll see the 5 steps that I would use. Second, we're going to have to try to overturn this plan. It's going to take a lot of work to overturn it, but it's going to have to be done. If the plan doesn't pass, that would be great. You can breathe a sigh of relief for 5 minutes, but don't stop because the cost of health care is still an issue. That's health care.